Hi there, my dear friends, and welcome to another episode of Whispering Wikipedia. Now, this episode has a lot of firsts. I'm going to start off this episode with a little bit of a short ramble, and then I'm going to move in to the Wikipedia. Now, one of the first things about this video is this is the first time I'm ever reading a Wikipedia, while having read it in the past. This is my second take of this reading, and thus I think it'll be a interesting experience for you if you are an avid watcher of the channel, because this will be the first time that I am reading while having read before, so I'll be able to maybe do a little bit more in-depth analysis of what I think, given that it's not the first time I'm seeing these facts. And the reason that this is the second time is because I recorded this video before, but I'm experimenting with new audio settings, which you will most undoubtedly have already noticed. My gain on the microphone is really high, so you can hear all of the mouth sounds really clearly, and all of the plosives when I speak, like all of that much stronger, and also the sibilance when I speak is going to be more intense. So because I'm testing all of this out, it's been taking a while for me to understand everything. I previously, when recording, was using the native audio recorder supplied in my iPad, connected of course to the Blue Yeti. But now I'm using GarageBand on the iPad because it has something called live monitoring, which means I can hear myself through these headphones, earpods, which means I'll be catering the experience to be a little bit more ASMR focused, because of course, just like learning and education are my passions, providing good ASMR as a relaxation and sleep aid is also a very high priority for me. Now, I'll be experimenting with the sound throughout the video, so if I stop and do something weird, please feel free to just, regard me as weird or something, but that's okay. Furthermore, of course, you'll notice that I'm using a full pop card, a full 3D pop card, win card, and I'm doing this because I want to be able to focus more on doing the different areas around the head. Now, one of the things I've noticed is, I don't know why, but here said, within the zombies video, I was very interested to read about ghouls, as apparently zombies are Haitian in origin, whereas ghouls are Arabic or pre-Arabic Arabia, area, and they're demons as opposed to zombies, which are enslaved kind of souls in the folklore. Now onto the ghoul. Ghoul is a demon-like being or monstrous humanoid originating in pre-Islamic Arabian religion, associated with graveyards and consuming human flesh. In modern fiction, the term has often been used for a certain kind of undead monster. By extension, the word ghoul is also used in a derogatory sense to refer to a person who delights in the macabre, or whose profession is linked directly to death, such as a grave digger or grave robber. It's very interesting that they say that that's common, because I've never actually heard that as a derogatory term or an insult before. I really don't know. Now we move into early etymology. Ghoul is from the Arabic ghoul, from gala, disease. I don't know if I said that correctly because I can't exactly remember my Arabic alphabet very well. I can't tell if that first letter in ghoul is a jim or what it is, but I know the middle one, that letter, that looks like a backwards 9, is an oo sound. Hard for me to know. Ghala, disease. In Arabic, the term is also sometimes used to describe a greedy or gluttonous individual. Wow. The term was first used in English literature in 1786 in William Beckford's Orientalist novel Vathek, which describes the ghoul of Arabic folklore. This definition of the ghoul has persisted until modern times, with ghouls appearing in popular culture. Now we move to folklore. In the Arabic folklore, the ghoul is said to dwell in cemeteries and other uninhabited places. A male ghoul is referred to as a ghoul, while the female is called a ghula. That is standard within the Arabic language. For a male word, such as Muslim, when talking about the practitioner or the individual who is Muslim, whereas for a female additive to a word, it changes to an at the end, so a female Muslim is a Muslima. A source who is not cited identified the Arabic ghoul as a female creature who is sometimes called mother ghoul, ghulah, or a relational term such as aunt ghoul. She is portrayed in many tales, luring hapless characters, who are usually men, into a home where she can eat them. Interesting. It's probably not that difficult to lure men into your home as a female ghoul if you can hide your ghoulish appearance. Some state, again not referenced, that a ghoul is a desert-dwelling, shape-shifting demon that can assume the guise of an animal, especially a hyena. Creepy. It lures unwary people into the desert wastes or abandoned places to slay and devour them. The creature also preys on young children, drinks blood, steals coins, and eats the dead. Then, taking the form of the person most recently society. Calends depicted the ghoul as a monstrous creature that dwelled in cemeteries, feasting upon corpses. Ghouls, in Persian it's ghoul. Dang, I forget how to say that. Were also adopted into Iranian folklore. Now let's talk about them in Islamic theology. Although not part of Islamic scriptures, some exegete of the Quran report an account of the origin of ghouls. According to one report, the shaitan devils once had access to the heavens. Now I find it very interesting that the shaitan, that they're a thing, because whenever I hear about something akin to a devil or a spirit in Islam, it's usually the jinn. I think people spell it different ways. D-G-I-N, I think, is the most common way I've seen. But I don't hear much about the shaitan. Possibly that means I should be spending more time learning about them. Maybe I'll read their Wikipedia one day. According to one report, the shaitan devils once had access to the heavens, where they eavesdropped and returned to earth to pass hidden knowledge to the soothsayers. When Jesus was born, 3 heavenly spheres were forbidden to them. With the arrival of Muhammad, the other 4 were forbidden. Interesting, so these spheres are where the information is stored in Islamic heaven. I wonder what that means or symbolizes. The married among the shaitan continued to rise to the heavens, but were burned by the comets. If the comets didn't burn them to death, they were deformed and driven to insanity. Then they fell to the deserts and were doomed to roam the earth as ghouls. Wow. Fairly dark. Others believe the ghouls to be a class of jinn, as we were talking about before, who could be converted to Islam if someone recites the verse of the throne. Interesting. Now let's talk about ghouls in popular culture. Ghouls were featured in H.P. Lovecraft's short story Pickman's Model. They made an appearance again in the novella The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. A trio of ghouls appear as summoned enemies in the 1977 film Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. The 1981 British anthology film The Monsters Club features a short story, The Ghouls, with an entire village community occupied by ghouls. Ghouls are low-level undead enemies with paralyzing claw attacks in the role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons. And finally, a ghoul is a type of unit in Warcraft 3 used for harvesting lumber and fight as part of the undead scourge. In Warcraft, they are kind of like your basic peasant unit that you use to accumulate wealth while you build out and span the rest of your army. Very interesting. The ghoul Wikipedia is a lot shorter than I imagined, while the zombie Wikipedia is a lot longer. Interesting. I wonder what associated Wikipedia pages I should read about next. Also, for some further information, Halloween is going to be continuing into November on this channel, simply because I've planned a lot of Halloween content, but I had not gotten time to be able to edit, film and release all of it in time for the run-up to Halloween. So it shall be continuing into November. So if you want a prolonged spooky season, feel free to stick around because the spooks are continuing to come. If you're wondering, the roleplay series with zombies is going to be about 10 episodes long for the main series, and then maybe we'll see what happens. But when that is finished, that will signal the end of the Halloween content on the channel. Now, thank you so much for watching and spending this time with me. Please, if you have any feedback about the sound, about the video, about the quality, about what I should talk about me, do I have an ugly face? You know, tell me in the comments below and I'll try and improve what I can. Because making videos as a sleep aid to help people relax, to help people feel better is why I run this channel. So of course I want to make the best quality content that I can. And of course, as you know, criticism is one of the most important ways to learn and gain new information. So you can say whatever you want, you can be harsh if you want, but I just want